Everybody seems to have their favorite Kobe Bryant moment. Do you have a favorite Kobe Bryant moment in your career?
Nothing beats getting drafted, and you dream about that moment. You know, it's just, that's the beginning of it all.
This thought in my flesh is the only thing I got left, and it's so hard to confess when everybody thinks you're perfect. But I cry for you if you feel it too, and I cry for you if it's so hard to lose the elephants in the room. Sunday morning, I woke up dead inside from all the hurt I saw before me. Evil trying to take away my testimony. Staring at my phone, feeling like a phony. Oh, I cry for you, I would die for you, to escape the pain I feel from all that I've been through. I feel it in my soul and in my chest. Take away this ugly thorn inside my flesh. Give me death, but grace is sufficient to start my mission. I'm so far from perfect, can't believe they listen. But hear a broken man tell you healing happens, and hear a liar tell you truth to bring you gladness. I could never boast in my accomplishments, I can only hope in God with confidence. Opposite of optimists, you and I are consonants, broken all the vows, deserving of every consequence. Will you cry for me, or will you judge me? Will you throw stones at my head, or will you love me? I could never be everything that you want to see, but crooked sticks draw straight lines, just look at me. But crooked sticks draw straight lines, just look at me. This thought in my flesh is the only thing I got left, and it's so hard to confess when everybody thinks you're perfect. But I cry for you if you feel it too, and I cry for you if it's so hard to lose the elephants in the room.
All right, hey, how y'all doing? This is Rick Sincere with MTMV Sports, and this is a very special episode of the MTMV Huddle Up. It is it's been a shocking 24 hours. It's been a really a moment in time that I mean, I just feel something that I haven't really felt ever, really. You know what I mean? Especially when it comes to an athlete. And I just haven't felt something of this magnitude before. It felt like the world had to pause for a second. And of course, we're talking about the untimely passing of Kobe Bryant and his daughter, Gigi, and the other passengers who were in the helicopter when it went down. So today we had a lot of stuff kind of ready to go, a lot of things we were going to talk about. There's just so much in the world of sports to talk about, but I feel that it's necessary for us just to stop because of the impact, right, of this play. I think it's necessary for us to stop and just talk about and go back through Kobe and the kind of impact that he had through his basketball career, through his charity work, through his mentorship of NBA players, the younger NBA players, and through his relationships, and then especially the relationship that he had with his daughter, and how much and how much that meant, and we just kind of saw it. So funny, and it was just a week ago we saw him talking to her and sharing moments with her, and now now that's something that'll live on forever. And so I'm joined today by the team. I'm joined today by other brothers who were affected by the life, the basketball career, and and the moves of Kobe Bryant and that whole thought of Mamba mentality. I just introduced Conrad Hilton. How you doing, Conrad?
Hey, what's up, guys?
All right. Jeremiah Thomas, how you doing, sir?
What's good, family? How y'all doing today?
Will Smith.
What's up, y'all? Red and bold, baby.
The Voice,
Salute, it's your man, the voice.
and we have Miles Austin on the line as well. Miles, are you there? Awesome. Got to unmute your mic, sir.
Turn your mic on, Austin.
All right, bet.
Oh.
So,
he
so
left.
guys, today we'll go through several different phases, and we'll kind of talk about this chronologically. We'll talk about early Kobe, just when Kobe first came into the league, and how that felt, right? I mean, because we were all growing up watching Kobe come through the ranks. This is one of those times we got a chance to see, a guy come through we saw his entire career kind of unfold, and we watched his basketball story. So we'll start off talking about early Kobe and what that meant to all of us, to see him kind of rise from high school and go into the league. And then we'll talk about his time with Shaq, the Shaq and Kobe era, which was a big time for all of us as well. We'll talk about that whole Mamba mentality, how he dominated the league after Shaq, and that whole time when he had to overcome Boston. And we're talking about overcoming his loss because I don't want the voice to get too upset. And then we'll talk about his farewell tour, and then we'll talk about the lasting impact of Kobe Bryant. All right, guys. So thank you all so much for joining me tonight, man, to talk about something that, like I said, probably affected us all, man. Let's hop into just this early Kobe. When Kobe first came into the league, he was coming straight out of high school, and honestly, everybody was hearing about this phenom. Jordan was kind of on the latter half of his career, and everybody was saying, "There's another one coming. There's another one coming." And he was supposed to be like Jordan, and it was just supposed to be something that captivated everybody's imagination. And when he first came into the league, he had like instant impact. His highlights, dunks, the way he kind of made moves, and you knew he had a love for the Lakers. And just kind of watching him grow. Let's talk about early Kobe, man. Number 8. Before we switched off to number 24, how early Kobe kind of feel for you all? How did you feel watching early Kobe?
Well, it's so funny. The first time I saw Kobe, I was a little boy. I was watching All of That, and he came and made an appearance on All of That. They're like, he's the first teenager, 17-year-old minor to be in the NBA. And when I saw it, I'm like the first teenager, and I see this guy really tall, 6'6", and I'm just like, yo, who is this cat? And like he, he's just like a little slinky, little linky guy, you know what I mean? And but he's really tall, and I'm like, whoa, all right, this is supposed to be the guy that's supposed to be better than Jordan. And then my first time seeing him play, my mind was blown because the kid was freaking athletic, and I'm just like, yo, who is this guy? And as a 9-year-old, I'm just like, yo, this is a teenager doing it, man. He's in there playing with grown men. So I was so excited as a kid, to see another kid dominate a bunch of grown men at the time. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Voice, you were here too for that whole situation. Bro, how did you feel about early Kobe Bryant?
Early Kobe really changed my view of basketball in a number of different ways. I've been told I'm a hater regarding the Lakers, and that wasn't always the case though.
That's good.
That is due to Kobe. Yeah, and I no shade. Let me say this.
That's real.
I have to be real. I respected his game tremendously. The issue with me when he first came in the league was, okay, you bald and you're a teenager. I know Onyx was cutting their hair off back in the day, but still, you bald. Yeah. You come down the court sticking your tongue out your mouth. You walk like Mike. You talk like Mike. You shoot like Mike. You go back down the court like Mike. You interview like Mike. You chew your gum like Mike. You took the Gatorade commercial way too literally. But then you want to say, oh, no, I patterned my game after Magic Johnson. That's a magic lie. And that caused me to have a great disdain because I love Magic. When Magic and Jordan played in the finals, I was like, oh, I don't know if Jordan's going to get it because, it's Magic. And I love the Showtime Lakers. But Kobe changed all that for me. Again, he was coming in the game, killing it, going to prom with Brandy, doing all that kind of wonderful stuff. But all of his Jordan-like antics, without giving the Jordan-like credit, rubbed me the wrong way.
Mhm.
I hear you on that. Hey, Miles, were you here for early Kobe? I know you kind of young, brother. Were you around for early Kobe?
Yeah, definitely. I was around for younger Kobe, man. I think the biggest thing I saw, just being a Laker fan, I was a fan of the Showtime. I wasn't alive to get to see them live, but um, when I got to see them early, I became a Lakers fan. And I'll be honest, when we drafted Kobe, when we took him from the Hornets, um, it was one of those things where I wonder what he's gonna do. I wonder what he has a lot of pressure on him. He's coming straight out of high school, a lot of confidence. So for me, it was just let's wait and see. I remember the air balls, the first season. I remember the growing pains. I remember trying to figure it out. We got blessed that year with uh, signing Shaq as a free agent from the Orlando Magic, where they just completely dropped the ball on it. Um, and really just seeing, okay, well, we got a dominant big man. What is Kobe going to do with this? And if he's going to live up to the hype, it took us 4 years to get to the championship and then three-peat it. So I think it's one of those things where you just saw the growth. You saw the commitment, the determination to just be the best that he could be. Uh, and I can't imagine seeing another work ethic like that. Somebody who just puts in the work. I mean, I remember stories of him learning different languages so he could talk smack in the person's native tongue. Like it was just ridiculous. That was the type of dedication he had to the game and what he wanted to do in terms of I'm gonna be the best. I don't matter. It doesn't matter who's in front of me, but I'm gonna be the best, and I'm gonna take on the challenge that comes with being the best. And that's why I respected that. My mentality lives on for real.
Yo, like when I think about, and I see you voice, when I think about early Kobe, I just remember watching games and trying to distinguish the difference between him and Eddie Jones, because honestly I couldn't tell who was doing. Like they have very similar body types and very similar skill sets, and
For
I kept
sure.
looking. I'm like, yo, which one is the one everybody keep talking about, right? And then I
Yeah.
realized, it was him. And then I remember those air balls. I remember they kept putting him in the game to hit the game winning shot, and he kept missing it. And I was like,
Yeah.
yo, like, but he never stopped shooting it. I'm like, yo, this
Yeah.
dude is weird, but like, I like him. You know what I mean?
All
No, I'm
confidence,
serious
bro.
because a lot of confidence without the results at that time, and to watch him go from that point to having consistent results was
Yeah.
like something for me to behold. Yeah, he wins the '96 slam dunk contest, right? Really captures the imagination of fans with that, and it was a big deal to watch early Kobe, right, in those 8 days. Um, but then, like you alluded to, Miles, we had the transition from early Kobe to the dynamic duo of Shaq and Kobe, and
Sure.
that era kind of changed a lot of stuff. It was a big deal to have the man Shaquille O'Neal
Yeah.
join the Lakers along with the young gunner Kobe Bryant, and immediately they start to take over the league.
Oh, for
Will, you
sure.
were here for that, man. We haven't heard from you yet. Talk to us about that feeling when it was Shaq and Kobe and it was super dominant.
I loved it, man. It was good to watch because I grew up watching Jordan and the whole Jordan era, and then it switched from the Jordan to the Kobe area because Jordan was transitioning out of the league at that time. He had won his 6 championships, went to the Wizards, and um, but it was great to watch, man. That was like a duo, just like Kobe. He emulated Jordan. He patterned his game after Jordan, and then you had Shaq, who was just this unstoppable force down low. That was when the league really had you had to have a center, and your center had to, what I'm saying, if he couldn't shoot, it wasn't
And
that many
bang, bro.
dominant centers. And Shaq was just like, I was upset that Shaq wasn't on the original Dream Team instead of Christian Laettner. I'm like, how you gonna put Christian Laettner in over Shaq? That
Yeah.
was
That's facts.
they would have been even that'd have been even crazier had they had Shaq on that squad. And so
Yeah.
just them two together, you wish they had stayed together like their whole careers, man. Like, Shaq,
It's Shaq's fault.
I
It's
enjoyed
Shaq's
Shaq
fault.
going to Miami with D Wade because D Wade was one of my favorite players, but it would have been nice to see them stay together longer and win some more ships together, man. They had a
Yeah.
chemistry, and even though they had their their little beefs between each other, you couldn't really see on the court. You know what I'm saying? On
Yeah.
the court, they was like, it's about this ball game right now.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Yo, JT, man, how'd you feel? Like you were around for Shaq and Kobe, bro. How'd that feel? How'd that era feel to you?
Man, it was a dominant era. I was talking about this today with some of my homeboys. I was saying, could you? I think that duo ultimately could have been the probably one of the best duos to ever come through the league. And my homeboys, he brought this up to my attention that the beginning of Shaq's career, it was Penny and Shaq.
For sure.
So they said, if you compare Penny and Shaq to Kobe and Shaq, which duo was better?
Ooh,
The one with the chips.
that
Right.
Penny and Shaq.
Well,
Right.
you got
So-
a
Facts.
point to three.
But
Penny hadn't got hurt.
Facts.
Penny
I'm
was
saying,
Right.
but
expensive.
if Penny would have not gotten hurt,
Yeah,
what could have happened?
Penny
But
was.
the dumbness of those two guys, man, is unreal. Like you've never seen two guys take over a game the way they did.
For sure.
Like Shaq really, I think to me personally, just watching, I think Shaq made Kobe elevate his game.
Right.
Like when Shaq presence came to LA, Kobe was like, okay, this man's dominant. Let me just go ahead and just elevate my game a little bit better because I want to be the best in the game. Come
Right.
on. Like Shaq really was.
I hear you.
Huh?
I said, I hear you. I mean, I don't agree.
I'm saying, but think about it. Shaq was already making his name known in Orlando,
Oh, dude was the beast.
and then come to LA to Showtime. Yeah, Kobe was like, okay, let me step my game up to become even better, and it
I mean,
showed.
there's a whole thing about that I want to get into, but I don't. I mean, I know it's about Kobe, but I just feel like if Shaq would have stayed in Orlando, probably got a couple championships, at the crib.
But that's
I
Orlando's
digress.
fault. That's nobody's fault but Orlando.
It is not.
You
Shaq
don't
said
low-
himself he wanted to
No.
be a big
No.
fish in a big pond and rather be a
No,
small
no.
fish. I mean, big
You
fish in
gotta-
a small pond.
you
But this
gotta
about
read-
Kobe. Let's not talk about Shaq.
We'll talk.
That's what it turns into.
We'll have that
Well, look, we have to
conversation,
talk
believe
about the fallout, right? 2003, the situation occurs with the case. It really took away the baby face that Kobe had in the league because at some point Kobe Bryant was going to have that Michael Jordan appeal. He was like flawless almost, right? Athletically gifted, extremely creative on the court, and beloved by everyone. And then the case drops, and during that time, the league's mindset changed about Kobe, and the fans kind of changed about Kobe, and that's when there was this, people who rode with Kobe and people who kind of didn't, and it was bringing an end because of the situation between him and Shaq, and because of what got said during that time. We saw a little bit of the fallout between him and Shaquille O'Neal. I mean, Miles, you kind of got a chance to see that fallout between them. What did that feel like during that time to watch this dynamic duo kind of fall down?
I think it was. I think when you really look at it from a fan perspective and a person that followed the team closely, it was first. It was bittersweet. Obviously, we're trying to figure out why these two have issues. Why are they going back and forth in the media? Why are they going back and forth in practice? I mean, Shaq had an ego, and rightfully so. I mean, dude was dominated. He was dominating. I mean, before he came to the Lakers, he was a three-time All NBA. I mean, the list could go on for what he did in those 4 years before he came to the Lakers.
Top
So
50 player in the league.
yeah, man. So like the ego was one of those things that um, it was rightfully so. But I think what the issue was is that Shaq made it seem as if I could have did this without you. And I think that was the issue that they both had. When you talk about the dedication that Kobe brings to the basketball and the type of um, routine and the type of just like grit that he kind of brings, like, look, this is what I'm gonna do. I'm getting up at 4 a.m. I'm putting up 100 shots. I'm doing this. I'm doing that. That wasn't Shaq. That just wasn't him. He dominated. And 10 years into the league and 11 years into the league after those three championships, I mean, he was sitting back chilling, coming back to, training camp overweight and sluggish. And, so Kobe took offense to it. Look, you just started this team, three finals MVPs. Like, what type of legacy are you leaving? What type of example are you setting for the rest of the people on the Lakers? Um, so them going back and forth and seeing that fallout kind of hurt. I mean, even when we ended up signing Gary Payton and Karl Malone in '04, or the '03-'04 season, it was something you thought was all right, cool. They can bicker and go back and forth. We about to win another championship. It don't even matter. So, and then you just saw it smallly implode when Detroit came in and beat us 4-1. It was really one of those things. The first heartbreak was losing to San Antonio the year before, and really trying to see, okay, something has to change. And then we get those two signings. Throughout the season, Shaq made a lot of references to Gary and Karl Malone. They came here for me. They come here for you. Blah blah blah, throwing shots. Um, so you saw it kind of the trickle effect and figure it out. Okay, this isn't going to work. Kobe's a free agent. Shaq is still on. He's throwing shots at like, hey, at the end of the season, figure out what you want to do. Blah blah blah. And Jerry Buss ended up choosing Kobe over Shaq, and I think that was what it was. And it was sad to see him go. Glad he got another chip down in Miami. But we had to turn the page, and it was a hard transition. Trying to get back to the finals. We get back in '08. Obviously, Voice would loudly shout that from the rooftops, that one championship.
One more than y'all.
Yeah,
I'm not even gonna go there.
After Shaquille O'Neal left, right, Kobe kind of went on a tear. He led the
Yeah, for
league
sure.
in scoring in
Yeah.
2005 and 6. In the 2006 and 7 season, he led the league in scoring as well. In 2006 is when he had that epic 81-point game against the Toronto Raptors. The second most points that ever been scored since the Will Chamberlain 100-point game. And then you kind of watched his MVP season in '08. But at the end of the '08 season, he loses to the Celtics, and we kind of hear about that and we talk about that.
7 games, it hurt.
But then
That
he
one
comes
hurt.
back in '09 and '10, right? Winning championships in those
You
years,
rubbing your hands together.
and then the Finals MVP on both of those occasions, man.
Oh,
Let's
for
talk
sure.
about.
Make sure you say that. Make sure you
this
say
is
that back to back.
this is the era where we look at dominant Kobe,
Facts.
where it's Mamba mentality, and he kind of has to, and he's kind of freed, right? Like Shaq is gone, and he kind of has to make a name and make a claim to himself and his greatness, and he does it in spectacular fashion. But during that time, man, there's a lot of stuff that's going on. Some people are saying, he's a bit of a bad teammate, right? Because he's kind of having to push guys, and this is the Smush Parker era. This is the Kwame Brown situation, right?
Bro,
There's so much stuff going on
we
for
pushed through, bro.
Kobe Bryant, right? Let's talk about the Mamba mentality, that dominant era for Shaquille O'Neal. Hey, I mean, Will, you were here for it. What was that dominant era like in watching Mamba mentality as he overcame your bosses? I mean, as he overcame the situations in front of him.
He overcame Boston.
Well, he was he was a fierce competitor. He had the Mamba mentality is very similar to it was Jordan-esque. He had that killer instinct. He was that assassin on the court where he wanted the ball. He was gonna take his shots. Didn't matter how many he missed. He's gonna keep taking shots. And he basically had that same attitude of like nobody can hold me. Whoever you put in front of me, they gonna get done. So I mean that's I think they said that Mamba mentality is just like being the best you. Improving each day and being the best you that you can be. So I think that was a point where he finally stopped. I've listened to all the people talking. They was talking about he finally stopped trying to emulate Jordan and just wanted to be the best Kobe. And so that was that transition to that Mamba mentality. So,
Voice, you were there. How'd you feel during that time?
Thank you so much.
I'm coming right after you.
That's fine. That's fine.
Watch it.
He was sick of losing and going through all that tomfoolery, but he, as Shaq said, Kobe, you can't do without me, and that got to him. He was like, man, Shaq won a championship. I can't get a championship, and he really, took over and everything. I appreciated the passion that he had. Again, I will never deny the game of Kobe Bryant. The person during his playing time, I didn't like. Game, undeniable. And he pushed through, got beat by my boys. The big three came back and lifted the Celtics back to prominence, a spot that they continue to be in. Um, so, he got that done. But then, I said to myself, I was like, all right, I love the Lakers, or I like them, but I can't like them as long as Kobe is there. If he win one without Shaq, I like him. But then they beat Orlando. That didn't count. So I was like, no, they got to beat somebody for real.
That
Then
definitely counted.
they beat my
Y'all
boys
lost.
because they stopped playing with like 5 minutes left. So
What?
so I was like, all right, maybe I'll allow myself to root for the Lakers, but I
Boston
still
beat
couldn't
themselves.
because
Right.
he started clotheslining people, Trevor Ariza and all that
You gotta
stuff,
do the win,
and
man.
saying, hey, would you come play with me? And then nobody wanted to play with him because he was,
There's some competitor.
because of what he did to Pau Gasol. Poor Pau Gasol in that season after they beat Orlando. Pau was on fire for that first month. Then Kobe said, my ball. Nope, it's gonna be about me. And Pau Gasol has never been the same. Ever.
That's Kobe's fault.
Yeah.
Pal
He
Kazan has
took
never
his
been the same
he
since
took his
Blake Griffin jumped on with him.
confidence.
Yo, to be honest with
Blake
you,
Griffin took that man's soul, bro. Y'all,
Like, he pulled the
what
Chronicles of
Pal
Rick on
Gasol.
him. Kobe said, "I'll take your soul."
nah, look,
Twice in
y'all,
the same
y'all,
game.
y'all forgot that at one point Paul Gasol was playing slightly soft. I'm gonna just say that.
Oh,
Yeah.
slightly.
And
He
then
was soft.
Kobe challenged Paul Gasol to play harder, right? And to be a tougher individual. And then that next season when they won the championship, you saw a different Paul Gasol. Paul Gasol didn't just he wasn't doing so well because he was just doing well. He was doing so well because he was pushed to that level by the leadership of Kobe Bryant. So
And
watching
then
him and Lamar Odom, I mean, we
facts.
gotta talk
Lamar
about
was a
Lamar.
problem.
So watching Lamar Odom, watching Paul Gasol actually step up to the level Kobe needed them to in order for them to pull out championships. That was a big deal.
but Powell starts stepping up a little too much after they beat Orlando, and after that everything changed. He was like player of the month, first month. Then after that, Kobe shut him down again. He's never been the same. That's why you
Never been
think
the
of
same.
Mark Gasol when you think of the Gasol brothers. You don't think about the one with the ring. You don't think about Powell. Why? Because
Well,
Kobe
they both got
shut him down.
rings. They both got rings.
Oh, that's right.
Yo, so Miles, talk to me about overcoming Boston. I actually remember where I was when he won that title. I was actually downtown with Sean Tanner from Track Stars, and we were watching it at a place called Fox Sports Grill, man. And the whole entire place was all for Kobe. They had over remember we talked about earlier when people were split on whether they loved Kobe or didn't love Kobe. You know what I mean? Whether they were with Kobe and not with Kobe. By this time, everybody was for Kobe if you weren't for Boston. If you weren't for Boston and if you weren't for the big three, you were for Kobe Bryant and you wanted to see him overcome that. You wanted to see him win, right? And because you wanted to see him win, man, everybody was for Kobe in that particular championship. Miles, how was it and how sweet was it when he actually won that one?
How sweet was it? Man, look. It's against Boston, man. It's the sweetest it could be. It's the green and white. It's the ultra rivalry. It's one of those things that winning in '09 was great. 2010 was even better. The back to back was amazing. Um, people can say the Magic didn't count, whatever, but they ran through the East and included the Celtics. So I mean, what do you really want
still
them to say?
didn't count.
You
That was
know,
a
so
fluke.
it is what it is. It is what it is. The best team came out of the East, and it wasn't Boston. So I mean, they came back the next year, and I mean, it's still a 7 game series. I think both. I think '09, '08, and 2010 were both amazing series to watch. You saw the rivalry, you saw the gutsy plays. I mean, if we're real about it, like I think what made that the sweetest part of 2010 was the fact that Boston had the team. You had the big three. You had Kevin, Paul Gasol, Ray Allen. They were supposed to win. the team, the team. If you look team to team, it wasn't a great matchup. It was Kobe willing and dealing and pushing his team to win the championship, and it coming down to Game 7 was perfect. I think overcoming that big three was sweet. 2010 was definitely sweet, and winning back to back was definitely great. It was a good year for us, man. I mean, that basically kind of set us on that 6 year, hiatus from the playoffs. But I mean, it was good. That's a moment that's always gonna live up to what it
Can we
was.
move on to the next subject?
And see,
I,
Because we've been on this far too long. I didn't
I,
say
hey,
I,
time, but we've been on this one far too
I've
long.
been on it,
something
man.
Miles said though. Something Miles said that Kobe, his will pushed the team to the title in 2010. That's when that Mamba mentality really took over and just really just
For sure.
became who he was. The Mamba mentality, like, because
Yeah.
they were not supposed to win on paper. You got
Nah,
Kevin Garnett,
not at
Paul
all.
Pierce, Ray Allen, Rondo, who was an emerging, point guard. I
Yeah,
think
for
Perkins
sure.
was on the team at that time too, if I'm not
Big
mistaken.
boy. Yep.
Like, and then look at the bench. Look who Boston had on the bench. They had a pretty solid team. But Kobe, that mama mentality came in, just it's over with. Like, I'm finna win this
Snatched
title.
their soul. That's what
And
he
see, I'm a
did.
Kevin Garnett fan. Like,
Yeah.
Then,
I
then
don't
why don't we
like both.
move on to the next chapter then? Let's talk about after that. What happened after that?
yo, so we do have to talk about what
Snatched
happened
their
with
soul.
Kobe Bryant, right, during the World Tour, because after he wins these championships, then there's just like a series of injuries. There actually were times when he was on 40-point games. He was on 40-point streaks at points, right, after these title runs, but eventually you'd always suffer, an Achilles injury or something would happen, or a knee injury or something would happen,
It was a
to
hard
Kobe Bryant
season.
to pull away from his greatness in his career. So watching Kobe towards the latter half of his career, it kind of felt like the end was near, and then it became very apparent. Like he went on a farewell tour. Everybody knew the end was near, but then that last game, that 60-point game, where Kobe Bryant, where we got a chance to feel all the emotions, live all the stuff, right? To really, really dive into that moment. Conrad, were you able to see that last game? And if you did, what was your take on it, man?
Um, um, sorry guys, I'm just thinking about it. That's when like he solidified himself as a hero of mine. Um, like you saw something happening in front of you, and you see greatness, and like you really saw like someone that you looked at him and you're just like, oh, this is the reason why he's great. This is the reason why
Yeah.
he's better than everybody. This is the reason why he went out there and worked hard his whole entire life. I never seen a person grind like that in my life. Uh, excuse me. I never seen a person grind like that in my entire life, man. And it led me to, to grind hard and reach for goals and become a better man. After seeing that game, I'm like, dang man, ain't nobody gonna close out their career like this. I don't see LeBron doing that. And as much as I love LeBron, I don't see LeBron doing that. I don't see a Curry doing that. I don't see no Ball families, no none of that. None of these guys coming up. I don't see them doing that because that's what made him so great. And the simple fact is like I'm not gonna see him in like the big three competitions. I'm not gonna see him in none
Oh
of that. He closed it out when he closed it out. You know what I mean? And
yeah.
and that made him great. And I cried that night. Because I still remember, man. I was like, bro, I'm not gonna see this greatness ever again, bro.
Yeah.
This is the
Yeah.
last time I'm gonna see something like this,
Yeah.
I wish he
especially in
did
my
play in the big
lifetime.
three though, for real. I was
Winter.
Like,
so hoping he went to the big.
Yeah,
I'm glad he didn't do it, man. I
and
appreciate it.
it's
man.
crazy because I remember that night so vividly. Like, I
Yeah.
was at work, like we was busy. I like, bro, y'all finna run this shift by yourself. Like, I'm finna sit in this office. I'm finna watch this entire game. I watched it from the introduction. I watched the commercials. I did not leave my office. Like even when we close, I say, y'all clean up the kitchen, y'all clean up the lobby. I'm gonna sit here, count the money. Y'all don't interrupt me. If y'all do, y'all might get fired. Like literally after everybody left, I was still in the office watching the entire game. And it was like you saw Kobe do the 40. I was like, man, they've been taking him out the game. No, bro, 50.
Yeah.
Okay, can he really do this 60 point and balling? Like when if I'm not mistaken, I think it was a play where they double teamed him. He spit out and hit a fadeaway three.
Yes.
Dude,
bro.
I was just like, bro,
Like,
this
man,
guy's unreal.
like, bro, you do a spin out and then do a fadeaway three from one corner, and then the very next drive on the other corner in front of Jay-Z, you hit another three, bro. What?
Right.
Come on, man. Like
it was his night, man.
I don't see another NBA player going out like Kobe did. I don't see, like you said, LeBron's probably he's the greatest of this generation. LeBron last game in the NBA, I cannot see him putting up 60 points. Yeah, I just don't see that will. Like Kobe said, "This is my last ride. I'm gonna leave it all on the court."
Yeah. Let me say this real quick.
It'll be no big three. I won't participate in All-Star. This is my last time. I'm gonna leave everything on this court. So don't call me for no big three. Don't call me for no celebrity game. None of that. This is my last time. And he left it on the court.
He left it there.
That's for
Can I say something real quick as someone who has already stated his feelings about him? Him playing that game and going out the way that he did, again, it solidified his greatness. And let me be the first to say that people they discredited his greatness. It's been all about LeBron. Oh, it's LeBron, the LeBron Jordan comparison. It's like, you can't say LeBron Jordan. LeBron ain't better than Kobe. And this comes from somebody who stopped following the Lakers because of this man. I was like, why y'all got me defending this man? LeBron is not better than Kobe.
I agree.
And hopefully, I mean, I hate that it has come to this, and life is so fragile.
Yeah,
that's what this shows, is that life is so fragile and it's just a vapor. But hopefully people will stop that foolishness and give the man the credit that he deserves.
Yeah.
If I can, come on.
I think it's one of those things, man. When I looked at that last game, I saw it the way Conrad saw it. I saw the way JT saw it. But what really stuck out to me was the story of David. We all hear the highlights and the big parts of the story. He got his slingshot, took down Goliath. But if everything that happened in the preliminary stages of David's life didn't culminate into that moment that he was ready, he had to take care of the flock, he had to protect the sheep, he had to fight lions and bears and whatever to protect them sheep. So the Goliath was nothing. So I look at that and I say, Kobe dropped 60 because even in his tiredness, even when his body said, I can't go anymore, his heart said, this is what I'm supposed to do. The muscle memory, the stops, the jab steps shooting over, the fadeaways, the jumpers and the threes. I've done it for 20 years. I put in the work. And this is exactly what all that work is going to come up to. It doesn't matter if I'm tired, if I do my mechanics right, if I flick my wrist, elbow in, right over the top, it's going to fall in like it has for 20 years. And that's the way I took it. I followed him more post NBA, and not just how he approached basketball, but how he approached life, how he approached his family, a husband and father. My heart goes out to Vanessa and Natalia and Capri, excuse me, and Bianca. Bianca and Capri are have to grow up with not really knowing their father. 3 years old and 7 months old. You're looking at what that looks like. Vanessa's gonna have to live the rest of her life without her husband and the father to her kids. I think about the 17-year-old Natalia who's has to live now as a teenager, getting ready to go to college without her father and without her baby sister. It's painful. I've cried enough last night. I cried enough this morning when ESPN wouldn't stop playing the darn stuff. It was over and all day. I watched the national championship game. I watched the old Louisville, Kentucky. Whatever I can do to get the thoughts and hearing it on the TV. Um, you know, you get choked up. After watching him and his post career and dedication he put into filmmaking and writing and just inspiring the next generation with the Mamba Academy, and the books that he wanted to write and the things that he wanted to accomplish. He left a mark on a generation, an influence that's going to transcend generations, man. And I'm going to make sure that whatever I do, that Mamba mentality, that just complete dedication to your craft, whatever that looks like, whatever that is, being yourself completely, being the person that God created you to be. And I'm going to make sure that I do it. I'm going to make sure my three sons do it. I'm going to make sure my family stands for putting their best foot forward and the dedication that it took. Um, Kobe meant the world to me. People were reaching out like, "Are you good? Are you fine?" I know not just a Laker fan, you were a Kobe dude. And um, I, I'm out of tears. And at this point, I'm going to celebrate. I even saw a meme going around. It was like, we don't play 21 anymore. We play
Play
24.
24. And if you
Like
miss, you gotta go back to 8.
yeah, little stuff, man. Like that stuff is gonna live on. I'm gonna be shooting. I'm gonna be shooting baskets from half court, screaming Kobe for the rest of my life, man. And things hit hard. When Paul Walker passed, that was Fast and the Furious was my joint. That was a man. That was a man cry. You feel me? Kobe hit a little different. But that was just me being a fan and me watching a man give his life to his craft and then just transitioning to giving his life to the next craft he wanted to do. Um, uh, the voice spoke on it throughout this whole uh, this whole time, man, of just him, the pure dedication that he put on. You had to respect it. You could hate the man, but what the product he put on that court was undeniable. And I pray to God that that legacy lives on throughout the world, throughout me, throughout my family, throughout my three boys, and they understand. Look, put your best foot forward. Period. It doesn't matter if you want to be the best. Put the work in, and nobody can stop you. And I feel like Kobe epitomized that, and he was an inspiration to me. And I'm gonna make sure that my boys know what I grew up watching. I didn't have a father figure growing up. Um, I had mentors and youth pastors and everything under the sun, big brothers, and but to see somebody just put in complete dedication to what they did was absolutely amazing and astonishing, not only for me to see, but me to watch that kind of just happen. Was big for me as a man, as a husband. I watched the '03 and going through the whole the allegations and everything. I watched the video earlier that old Stephen A interview, and he was like, "How do you feel after having to go through this?" He said, "Man, God is great." And he said, we know that. We know people know that God is great. He said, until you get into a place where you got to pick up your own cross that you know you can't pick up by yourself, and God picks you up and that cross, he said, then you'll know. And I think that speaks to the type of person and type of man that he was. He understood that there was a situation that he couldn't take on his own, and he was gonna overcome it and be better for it. That's me. That's me to a T. I've been through hell and back, and I'm not gonna let anything stop me. And I'm gonna be the best I can be, the best husband, father um, that I can be for my three boys, and the best husband I can be for my wife. And it starts with the legacy that Kobe left behind. 8 and 24 gonna live on forever, man. Especially in this household, you can believe that.
Yo, just for everybody, as we just talk about our, the lasting impact of Kobe, let's just share our favorite Kobe moment. I go around. I start with Will. Will, what was your absolute favorite Kobe moment?
My favorite Kobe moment. I can't think of one right now. We gotta go to the next because you had a lot of moments. But go on to the next. Go on to the next.
All right, Will. I said Will. Voice. What's your favorite Kobe moment?
Uh, My favorite Kobe moment. Um, I would have said the farewell game, but to just make things a little bit lighter, it's when he cut that fro off because that was atrocious. Oh my goodness. It was like, dude, what are you doing? You see yourself out there. You see what you look like. Cut that stuff off, man.
Nah, he had to distinguish himself from Eddie Jones. Nobody could tell the difference. So
Eddie Jones wasn't around when he had
he
the
had
sponge before the sponge.
yo, yo, JT, what's your favorite Kobe moment?
Man, it's a lot, bro. But the one I'm gonna say, it was the later part of his career when everybody was like, his legs are gone. He can't dunk no more. If I'm not mistaken, I think it was Josh Jackson who he dunked on. I don't.
Josh Smith.
Josh Smith. Like
Yeah.
Kobe came out of nowhere, and that was a vintage Kobe.
That was
Like
vintage
when
Kobe,
I
yeah.
saw that, I'm like, well, what?
Yeah.
Oh, he on steroids.
Yeah.
Like ain't no way this man this old jumping like that.
He
And
got
it
some
was a
help from
poster,
Josh
it was
Smith,
a vintage posterizing dunk for Kobe. You know what I'm saying?
for sure.
Kobe went up and dunked it. Like, bro, like, come on, bro.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
that moment,
You're right.
it stood out most to me because you know what I'm saying. He was an older guy. I know his legs wasn't as young as they were, but it still showed his drive and dedication to the gym. Like he worked out his thrive. Like I still got this. I'm still going to be the best player in the league, and it showed it. He dug deep and let's go, let's go.
Yo, Conrad, what's your favorite Kobe moment?
When they were playing Orlando, you know, after they lost the game to Orlando and they dropped one game, whatever, you could tell like in the press conference with what's your boy name? Dwight Howard, he was so happy and relieved or whatever. And when they turned to Kobe's thoughts, he's like, we're just gonna clean it up. And I was just like, what? That's all he said. He said, we're just gonna clean it up. And I was just like, yo. So and then they just beat the crap out of them after that. And I was just like, yo, man, Orlando did not stand a chance. And you know, and I'm glad he got that. I'm glad he got that win because you know he stepped up and he was just like, yo, man, woo! Like you see him after the game. You see him after the game after he won the championship. You just see him. He just woo! And I was just so happy for him in that moment, man, because you know, taking that. I lived in Daytona at the time, so Orlando was literally down the street from Daytona.
Yeah.
And you know, everybody home like, oh yeah, Orlando for take it. Orlando gonna take it. We're gonna do it. I'm like, nah, they've been here before. And the Rockets cleaned them up real well. So I don't think so, you know. But like Kobe, when Kobe said that, man, it's just like, yo, bro, like, yeah, we just gotta clean it up. You know, I'm like, all right.
Will, you ready, brother?
No.
All right,
My mind was on something else.
Hey, well, I'm gonna take Will's moment. Well, one more time. But something that another player stood out to me was who did Matt Barnes play for? Was it
Orlando?
Orlando. When he did
he was at Orlando at the time.
Oh, what he said there.
He was so mentally focused, bro.
So focused, bro. Like that's that Mamba mentality. He stood there. The ball was like.
All right, Miles, what's your favorite moment?
Man, I have it's two that go hand in hand. So the first one is I forget what finals it was, but it's a finals. We're up 2-0. And I remember the reporter going, Kobe, where's this lack of emotion on your face? You think you'd be happier being up 2-0 in the NBA finals? And he was like, what's there to be happy about? Like, job not finished? Is the job done? He was like, job not finished. He said, I got to keep going. That's one. And then one of the last games of 2012 season after signing Steve Nash and Dwight Howard, you couldn't tell me that we wasn't going to win a championship that year. I said, y'all playing. Y'all gave us Dwight Howard, Steve Nash. I don't know. This is a foregone conclusion. Why are we going to play this season? I remember them playing probably 17 or 18 games together, all healthy and on the floor.
Yeah.
And one of the last games, he goes in for a routine drive. He's about to pick up and shoot the jumper, the pull up jumper, and he tears his Achilles. Goes to the sideline, comes back and shoots those 2 free throws and walks off. It just, to me, it was the culmination of who he was. Look, I'm beaten, battered, and bruised, but you're not gonna stop me. I'm gonna shoot these free throws and understand and concede to what has happened. But best believe it ain't the last of me. And
One
that just kind of speaks to me from who Kobe was, man.
one of my favorite Kobe moments I just learned about today, man. And it was just something I learned about. I mean, just a few hours ago. So after that very last game, which I enjoyed just like y'all, man, I watched every moment of it. Um, and I didn't cry, but I almost did. I mean, I stood right there, man. I held back that man tear, and I just didn't let it go. But man, I was so in awe.
Man tier.
Man
Funny
tear
as hell.
sponsored by MTMV. but but no, but no, I really held it, man. And I was like, I stood there. My wife went to sleep, and I was just like, I was just so in awe. I was like, who does this? Who ends a career like this? Like, what is this? What am I watching right now? And being able to see him do that, I was so encouraged, man. I was like, yo, I'm gonna finish strong. Whatever I do, I'm gonna finish strong. This moment
Right.
right here teaches me to finish strong. I will finish strong in whatever I do. And I just learned so much from it. But the moment that I just learned about was after that game, right? The next morning, like he goes and um he hangs out with his kids. He goes to sleep, and then the next morning he wakes up and he goes to church, and that's something I didn't really know about Kobe. I didn't really know kind of, where he stood with that. And honestly, I didn't know about what he said in that interview until today, right? And that was striking to me. But Ramona from ESPN, she shared the story, and she said she called him, and well, she was asking him about what he did, and he said he went to church that next morning. And she was like, why, and he was like, man, I had such a great career. I had a lot of good stuff happen, and I'm just thankful, and I just want to make sure that I say thank you. You know what I mean? And so
Yeah.
I thought, I mean, I just I didn't know where it stood, because Mamba mentality kind of puts it on you, where it makes you feel like, man, I've done it, I've overcome, I've achieved, and I've done so much, and the
Yeah.
glory kind of comes back, to you for overcoming. But I'm glad he knew in that moment that, that glory belongs somewhere else,
Amen.
and so he wakes up that next morning, he gives thanks, and I didn't even know where he stood with that. I didn't know where he was with that.
And that
Um,
that,
but
that
that's a
for
big
me,
deal.
that for me was like it was a Sunday yesterday that we heard the news.
Yeah.
And I was sitting in my car and we were getting ready to take my daughter to her grandparents, and I got to, boom boom, notification, Kobe Bryant and plane crash. And I'm like, nah. I'm like, this can't be real. Like this, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
nah. I was just like, no, you know what I'm saying? And I didn't know him personally,
Yeah.
but it hurt like a lot. Like, nah,
Yeah.
like he's supposed to be here. Like Kobe got more things to do, you know what I'm saying? And
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
For sure.
one of the things that popped in my mind was like, man, I hope he knew Jesus Christ. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because it goes to show you, like, no matter, there's no amount of money, there's no amount of accolades and prestige you can't cheat death.
Yeah.
And not that he was cheating it, but it's like tomorrow isn't promised, and we have to cherish each day. And you never know when that time will come. And so it's like, man, I hope he knew Christ. You know what I'm saying? So that's what
Sure.
really flipped out to me. And then my thoughts went to his family, because I have a daughter of my own. I have a family. And it's like, and then the other people, it's like, oh, there were other, everybody that was in that crash. And it's like, you never know when that moment will come. And so it doesn't really, like, the material things and the accomplishments don't matter. It's like what,
Yeah.
um, the legacy, like what are you going to leave behind? And
Yeah.
so the most important thing I tell people, every day, like the most important thing that I can leave my daughter with is the gospel of Jesus Christ. And so that's And I was like, I'm glad I'm not God. You know, saying God is perfect, he's holy, he's wonderful, and I didn't know that about that he went to church the next day too. So like, man, that kind of brings some there's a comfort to that, even in experiencing a loss and mourning someone. And I mean, I immediately had to, we gotta pray for the families and his family. And it helps when kind of know that, or saying you're like, okay, because we don't as believers, we mourn differently than those that don't know God and know Jesus Christ, because we know that it's not truly the end. And so but I think Kobe, man, it's like I still it's still kind of still in that disbelief, kind of like
Yeah.
I wish he
Yes.
was still here, because I know
Yeah,
he
for
would have
sure.
done some great things outside
For
of
sure.
being outside of his career in the NBA. Because I think
Yeah.
did he win a Grammy or Oscar or something like that, or
He won an
He
Oscar.
went,
he
Yeah.
won
yeah.
so yeah,
Hey, but
just that. Mhm.
I would say that, have y'all ever listened to the Detailed on ESPN with Kobe?
The dude is
The detail.
ridiculous. I
Man,
listen to
yeah.
it specifically because he's
Listen,
been
Yes.
man, like when I listen to all those, it makes me think, okay, this man knew the game.
oh for sure.
Like if he wanted to be once he retired, if he wanted to be a coach, I think he could have took a team and turned them around just by the way he knew and how to dissect the game.
He
Oh
was
for
You know what I'm
coaching
sure.
the
saying?
girls team. He was coaching the team.
Yeah,
He
yeah,
was
yeah.
coaching his
He's
daughter's
coach,
team. Yeah.
and see, and then the fact that he was an advocate for women's basketball, like he
Mhm.
was really going to take WNBA to another level.
Yeah,
You know
for
what I'm
sure.
saying? And I think that I feel like it's going to continue that, but man, without him actually pushing it and really giving that drive, I don't know. I don't know how it's going to impact the WNBA. You know what I'm saying? Because I really feel like who else is going to really make that push for them? Kobe was the voice for the WNBA. Granted, you got Lisa Leslie and the other WNBA women superstars, but
And not Kobe Bryant.
Right.
was there.
Yeah, not
Kobe was
Kobe.
Kobe Bryant, and he just I don't know,
Yeah,
man. It's gonna be an interesting next couple of years.
yeah.
Yeah.
Before we
Well,
get
before we
go
get
ahead,
out,
bro.
I wanted to say,
Oh, hold on. I got it, current.
not only, huh?
Go ahead. Go ahead.
Yeah, I'm not gonna be long. I'm sorry, guys. I was so excited to see Gigi. I was so excited to see Gigi grow up. I wanted to see the Mamba continue, and I wanted to see what it would look like through her. Um, when I think about Gigi, I think about my niece. And it'd be hard for me, man. It'd be hard for me to lose somebody like that. That's what I'm saying, someone, a baby, my baby. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? And
yeah.
and like I almost look at Gigi as another niece, another one of Conrad's babies. You know what I mean? And like I I just really was excited to see her grow as an individual, as an adult, and I mean, I pray to God she's with our Father right now in heaven, along with her father, and I'm so thankful to see what passing on the torch looks like, and she was definitely about to take that torch and go some big places, man. And
So,
look, man, like we got to continue praying for the family. We got to continue praying for everybody else, and all the other families that were lost, but Gigi, I was so excited to see what happened with her and what was going to happen with her game. So I'm done. I'm sorry, guys.
Nah, brother. No.
good, bro.
You. Yeah.
Mhm.
No. Um. All right, y'all. So this brings a wrap to this episode. We dedicate this episode definitely to the memory of Kobe Bryant and Gigi
Two
and
four.
definitely the other people who suffered um who
Hey,
suffered the tragic loss.
before we get off, E, can
Hold on.
I say their names?
Yeah. Go ahead.
I just want to make sure we give respect to those also lost in that. Besides, obviously Kobe Bryant and Gianna, the other members of Johnny and Carrie Antabelli, their daughter Alyssa, Sari Chester, her daughter Peyton, Christina Mosser, who was an assistant coach with Kobe, was a basketball coach at Gianna's school, and the pilot, which is Arrows O'Ban. He was 50 years old, made plenty of fights with Kobe. I just wanted to speak those names so continue to pray for those families as well.
Thank you, Mother. I appreciate that, brother.
Yes, sir.
So we definitely dedicate this episode to them. We also dedicate this episode to our team member, Venora Lewis.
Amen. Amen.
Who's
Yeah.
a real big part of our squad. She has a loss. She suffered a huge loss today. And I don't want to break her privacy, but I definitely want to honor her and her
Amen.
family.
Amen.
And give this episode, and dedicate this to her. She's a hard-working member of our squad, man, and we truly want to, give up prayers. And if you are watching this or you're hearing this,
Yes, sir.
please send up prayers for Venora Lewis and her family and their comfort during this
Amen.
time.
Definitely. Love you, sis.
Also, there's one more person, just a brother of mine, Go DJ Star, who's always, a guy I know who's a good supporter, good strong supporter of stuff that stuff that went on with Christianity and Christian hip hop, and he was moving Christian hip hop in the South, and he lost his life yesterday as well, and so we dedicate this episode to him as well, and so I mean this I'll say this, I'm blessed to be surrounded by guys who help. Who this episode helped is therapeutic, man. It helps us to all get through and cope with this, and understand that we're not suffering alone, or you're not going through this alone, because we talked about it. The world stands still for a second, right? And just kind of acknowledge what happened and the brevity of life, man. It's so short, and some people, while they're here, they make huge impacts, and sometimes that impact is lasting, man. And so we're thankful for the impact. We're thankful for the impact of the lives that we lost yesterday. All right. Hey, this is MTMV Sports. Thank y'all so much for joining us today, man. We love you. We thank you. And there's gonna be better days, and we'll talk about them. We'll talk about it. All right, fellas, let's sign out. For the families, we love you, and we'll continue to be in prayer. God bless you. If you listen to this, we thank you, and have a great day.
We out.